is this? Oh, I know what this is. You told me about this.
PC like this is going to be able to play most games at ultra settings. So, what do you need to build a desktop? Well, of course, first you need a table. A thermal paste applicator, an Allen wrench,
you want an anti-static
some tweezers
mat
to tighten
anyway.
up the
I'm sorry, what was that, James?
He said you need if it's metal, you need an anti-static placement on top of it. Even on wood, you need anti-static metal. It's not just gonna. No, it's okay. It's fine. No criticisms. I'm sure this guy knows what he's doing.
There's a Swiss Army knife, which hopefully has a Phillips head screwdriver in it.
No, that's okay. Yeah, I mean, if you don't have any screwdrivers, I'm sure a Swiss Army knife is just okay.
Yes.
And last but not least, an anti-static bracelet, which is to protect you and the parts. These are the parts.
Okay. No, yeah, that is a thing. Usually, you get them with your anti-static mat because you put you like plugs into the mat, so it just whatever. I'm sure that works.
So next, we're going to install the RAM on the motherboard. I chose
I want to put the RAM in first.
Corsair's 16GB Vengeance LED RAM for two main reasons. One, it has LEDs, and we do like lights in our gaming desktops. Secondly,
everyone knows lights make your PC go faster.
It's just
it just makes it more powerful.
I mean, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. It's like if you draw flames in your PC, it will be faster.
And racing stripes. Don't forget racing stripes.
And it's only held down by one screw and the latch, so it's really simple and really straightforward.
He's using a Swiss Army knife, isn't he?
Yes.
Okay. No, it's his personal preference.
It has a screwdriver.
It does indeed have a screwdriver.
Okay, so step 4, we're going to install the graphics card. I chose PNY fit,
wonderful.
And then shift it to the back and make sure it's right up against the frame. Always be sure to try to place it in the system first before you install it, because you can see it takes up a lot of space.
Isn't that the space for the fans?
I'm sure he's about to install them. This is all part of his build.
And we're going to start screwing it in. And so there's nothing special about this screwing in process. They're just really long screws because they go through the entire frame of the cooler.
There's no
I wonder why they're so long, James. Do you know why they're so long, those screws?
What is he doing? No, it's his own build. I'm sure it works. The fans go on the outside, maybe? Right. Just when you go to build your own PCs, please don't follow this guide.
I will.
This is not a guide. This is a... Is this a troll video?
No, this was a serious video.
So next up, cables. Every power supply is going to come with a big bag of Velcro cables. It's kind of daunting at first, so you always have to find the ones that are going to fit.
Okay, that's just not true. Plug it in.
In this case, you need to match those cables with the correct descriptions on the power supply.
I mean, the fan's blowing right into the back of his motherboard.
There
are no fans on the side of that. That's straight into the back of his motherboard.
Oops.
Oops, indeed. So he's going to install his CPU in now, with all those cables in the way, with the CPU in the way, with the GPU in the way.
Yeah.
He's as long as it turns on in the end and works.
It's fun.
This is a special little part that not everyone may get, but this motherboard that we got from ASUS definitely does have. It's called a CPU installation tool. It makes it really useful.
ASUS.
I'm sorry, what?
I've never heard anyone describe it as ASUS before.
How did you say it?
Asus.
Asus.
Nasus.
Asus. Nasus.
Nasus.
Motherboard sponsored by Nasus.
Nasus.
Stack his queue.
It's gonna do a lot of damage, this PC.
No, I think he's doing enough damage to it as it is.
So we're about to apply thermal paste to the CPU.
How much more is he going to add?
That's a lot of paste.
That is a lot of paste. Including what he's got on the...
Everything.
Including what he's got on the cooler as well, on top of that. I want to believe that this guy isn't a complete fool. He knows what he's doing, and he's not just following a script someone else made for him, who also doesn't know what they're doing. I'm sure there's a reason why they've done what they've done. I just want to get to the end and see the final build. I'm sure there's sort of like a twist coming up where they explain the fixes and how they
There's
change
not a
it.
lot of time left.
Okay, so that was a
Seems to be
bit of a
on.
skip.
The post screen.
They kind of skipped over a lot here. There is a lot in between that step and the last step.
No, it's fine. He did everything.
He did it! Magic!
I mean, there are literal benchmark programs you could run to test the extent of your
Don't worry. We're gonna get to one of the benchmark games here in a second.
Yes, and this is normally like a very intensive game to run, and it's still doing a pretty good job. So right now I'm playing League of Legends.
Oh my heart. Okay.
Benchmark of gaming? League of
Benchmark of gaming. Yep. If you've got a 1080, you and you have problems running League of Legends armor, you have seriously fucked up something along the way building this thing. Watching this guy build this computer and then watching him play League as a Yasuo, I feel vindicated in my opinion of Yasuo mains.
Test stuff
Okay.
out, and hopefully
Gonna die.
have really high frame rates like I am right now. I'm averaging 120 FPS, and that's only because I've actually locked the game.
He locked the game at 120?
Why would you ever need to lock the frame rate of... I'm sure this guy has his reasons. Does he explain why?
No.
Okay.
James, what has been explaining anything for you this entire video?
I want to crawl up into a ball and just cry.
No. We are almost done, James. There's 1 minute left, pretty much.
Sorry, roll that back, please. I just want to hear that again.
I'm able to max out a lot of my favorite titles, and I'll be able to play a lot of upcoming titles like Battlefield 5 and Cyberpunk 2077.
No, you won't.
That computer doesn't even hit the minimum specs for Cyberpunk
No, it
2077. I guess no. So this was 2 years old, right? So we can let him off on that one. The specs for Cyberpunk hadn't been released at that point. That's excusable, I guess.
And if I have a problem down the line, I can always just swap out a part and have it serviced rather than losing my whole computer. And of course now we also have a computer to test and benchmark games here at the Verge.
But you didn't test it with a benchmark game.
He did play League of Legends on it.
That's not a benchmark game.
Who signed off on this?
There were so many people who signed off on that.
That was physically painful to watch.